my yarny friends, I'm Sarah and welcome back to my crochet channel. Today's video we're going to crochet a Christmas gnome, and this Christmas gnome is more than just a pretty face. He fits over one of our 16-ounce jars. Now, this one is glass, but this one is plastic, and you can find these at Joann's, Michael's, and Hobby Lobby in plastic. But if you don't have a plastic one, a glass jar will work just fine, and these will fit over any of your 16-ounce mason jars. They're great for filling with goodies and candy, maybe add a gift card, but they're also great for decorating with your little luminary candles. These are tea lights. I buy them 2 for $1 at my Dollar Tree. And they're super cool because they come already with a battery inside, and you just turn them on and you have a little luminary. And the neat thing about these that are better than a candle is if you forget to turn them off, you're not going to cause any kind of fire. So they're super safe. And they're inexpensive, 2 for $1. Great bargain. All right, now you can find this complete pattern with pictures and lots of fun information about this pattern on my blog. And as always, you can find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. To make our Christmas gnome jar cozy, again, you're going to need a 16-ounce jar. And if you want to pick up some of these little luminary tea candles, Dollar Tree has them, and I've seen them at lots of other places as well. Check over by the candles. That's where I found these. Now, as far as yarns, we're using medium weight number 4 acrylic yarns. This one is done in sparkle yarns, and this is, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby in the green, the white, and the red. And then I used a regular white for the beard and just a small amount of beige for the gnome's nose. What I'm going to do today for our demonstration is I'm going to use these colors. This is a bright pink, a tree, not tree green, but a bright green, and this kind of creamy white. These are Red Heart Super Saver. So get in your yarn stash and come up with some fun colors, or maybe just use up some of your leftover Christmas yarns. And I have a little bit of beige here that I'm going to use for the nose, and I'm also going to use this cream color for the beard. All right, now you need about ½ ounce of your 3 colors, and then just a small amount for the beard and the nose. And you also need whatever color that you want to use to make our pom pom. So you can mix and match it however that you want to. Just like I said, get in your yarn stash and see what you can come up with. Now I have some buttons out here. I added this cute little button. You can add as many buttons, they're decorative, as you want to. You can put them wherever you want on your gnome. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, 5.0 millimeter crochet hook, and you'll need a needle for weaving in ends. We also attach the beard with sewing it on the top and sewing on the nose. So you'll need that needle. You'll also need that needle for sewing on your buttons. And of course, the last thing we're going to need is our scissors. We're going to begin with the gnome's hat. And I have my 2 colors that I'm going to be using for the stripes on the hat. I'm going to be using this white that's kind of an off-white and this spring green. I'm going to begin with the white first. I'm going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to chain 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to join this into a circle. I'll tie that stay knot. If you want to begin with a magic circle, you certainly can. We're going to go in the circle, pull up a loop, and chain 3. That counts as 1 double crochet. And now we're going to double crochet 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and this will be 5. So with our chain 3 and 5 double crochets, we should have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, we're going to come over here and join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right, and so for row 1, we have 6 double crochets, and this is the top point of our hat. Our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. We're going to stitch 2 double crochets in the next double crochet. 1 and 2. Then we'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next and 2 double crochets in the next. And then we'll do that one more time. 1 double crochet in the next and 2 double crochets in that last stitch. 1 and 2. And again, we're going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch. This time we're not going to chain 3. What we are going to do is we're going to flip our hat out, because this is the outside of our hat. All right, we're not chaining 3 because we're going to change colors on our next row, but that's the way that row 2 should look. And you'll have 9 double crochets. All right, for row 3, we're bringing in our color 2 for our hat, and I'm using this bright spring green. There we go. We're going to leave our working yarn attached, and we're going to chain 3. Our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. We're going to stitch 2 double crochets in that next stitch. There we go. 1 and 2. We'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next and 2 double crochets in the next. And what we're doing is we're gradually increasing to form that hat. So 1 in the next and 2 in the next. 1 and 2. Two in the next. 1 in the next. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 double crochets. All right, so now we're going to join to our chain 3. Whoops, I missed it. There we go. And chain 3. All right, so now we have 13 double crochets for row 3. We chained 3 because we're not changing colors this row. We're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next double crochet and then 2 double crochets in the next. We'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next 2 and 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. And we'll keep going around, stitching 1 double crochet in the next 2. 1, 2, and 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. All right, let's count. Make sure we're where we need to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then we have one double crochet left, and we'll stitch in that last double crochet, and that will give us 17 double crochets for row 4. Okay, and so I'm not going to chain 3 because we're going to change to our next color. We're going to bring back in our white, and we're going to trail those up on the inside of our hat and chain 3. So we went from 6 to 9 to 13, and now we have 17 double crochets for row 4. So our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and we're going to double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in that next stitch. 1 and 2. And then we'll repeat that. 1 double crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. Then 1 double crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 double crochets in the next stitch. 1 and 2. And then we have 2 double crochets left, and we'll stitch 1 double crochet in those last 2 double crochets. And then we'll join to our chain 3 and chain 3 because we're not changing colors. All right, now we're going to do row 6. And row 6, we're just going to place 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. So we have our chain 3 in our first double crochet. So we'll go to our next double crochet and stitch 1 double crochet in each of those double crochets around. And then we'll join back to our chain 3. Completed row 6, stitching 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around, and so I have 20 double crochets on row 6. I joined to my chain 3, and now we're going to bring back in our color 2 and chain 3. Our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and we're going to double crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So because our double crochet counted as our first, we have 5 individual double crochets, and then we'll stitch 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. Now we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we'll stitch 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. And then we'll repeat what we just did. 1 double crochet in the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 double crochets in the next, 1 and 2, and then that leaves us with 2 double crochets, and so we'll stitch 1 double crochet in each of those 2. 1 and 2. Now we'll join to our chain 3 and chain 3 because we're not changing colors here. And for row 8, we're just going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of those double crochets around. So 1 double crochet in each of those double crochets around, and then we'll join back to our chain 3. So I completed that row of 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. So now we have 23 double crochets. Alrighty, now we're going to switch back to our white yarn, or our color 1. And remember, I'm only using 2 colors to stripe. You can stripe as many colors as you want to. So we're going to chain 3 with our new color, or our color 1. And now we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 5 stitches. Our chain 3 counted as 1, and then we stitched 5 more, so we have 6 individual double crochets. We'll stitch 2 double crochets in the next and repeat. 1 double crochet in the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I always look again just to make sure. There's my 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 double crochets in the next. 1 double crochet in the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That green wants to knot up on me. 2 double crochets in the next, and then again we end with 1 double crochet in those last 2 stitches. 1 and 2. We'll join to our chain 3 with the slip stitch, chain 3, and then for row 10 we're just going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of those double crochets around. And then again we'll join back to our chain 3. I completed row 10. I have 26 double crochets, and I'm going to bring back in my green. And chain 3. So now for row 11, we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so our chain 3 counted as 1, we stitched 6, so we have 7 double crochets. Then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. And now we'll repeat that. 1 double crochet in the next 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then 2 in the next. 1 and 2. Now we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 2 in the next. 1 and 2. And that again leaves 2 double crochets at the end. And we'll stitch 1 double crochet in each of those 2. Join to our chain 3 with a slip stitch, chain 3, and then for row 12 we're just going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of those double crochets around. And again, we'll join back to our chain 3. I completed that 12th row, and on your 12th row you should have 29 double crochets. And we're going to go ahead and cut off our green color. So we're just going to place a row of single crochets with our color 1. So we'll bring our color 1 back in. We'll chain 1, and now we're going to go right in that first stitch and stitch a single crochet. And then we'll stitch 1 single crochet in each of those double crochets all the way around the bottom edge of our hat. And that's just going to give us a nice row so it stays put on top of our jar cozy. So 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets, working all the way around, and then we'll join back to our first single crochet. So I stitched 1 single crochet in each stitch around. I'm going to join to my first single crochet and cut my yarn. I'm going to go in that next loop and pull that loop in so we get a nice finished edge. There we go. And we'll tie off on the inside of our hat. And then we'll use our needle to weave this in. But I want to show you where I carried those yarns up. It kept me from having to tie off and weave in every one. All right, but we'll take our needle and weave those in just a minute. But here's your hat. And now we're going to add a quick little pom-pom to the top. So I decided, since I'm using these 3 colors on my gnome, I'm going to make my pom-pom using all 3 colors. You can use as many colors as you want to, or you can just stick with 1. So we're going to start with 1 piece of yarn that I cut that's about 12 inches long, and we're going to set that aside. Then I'm going to take these 3 strands. You can do 1 strand, 2 strand, 3 strand, however many you want. And I'm just going to take my 2 fingers and wrap it around a bunch of times. I usually do about 30 times, but since I'm using 3 strands, I'm not going to do it as many times, maybe about 20. All right, I got a knot, so I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Well, that's enough anyway. All right, we're going to just take this, and we're going to, I'm put my finger back through there, and we're going to take our piece of string or yarn that we've already cut, and we're going to put it through. And then we'll just tie a knot. Now, the amount of rounds or wraps that you do will determine how thick your pom-pom will be. So if you want a big fluffy pom-pom, do more wraps. And we're just going to cut this. I do this just to eliminate as much mess as possible. You can do this over your trash. You can do this in a bowl and then dump it, however you want to do that. All right, so then I'm going to pull that forward, and I'm just going to cut all those strands off. And then I'll look at it and see if it's floofy enough. I think I want it just a little bit shorter, so I'm just going to cut it again. And you can also use a pre-made pom-pom. That would look pretty as well. All right, I like that. I think that looks nice. All right, so let's go ahead and take our hat again, and we'll put the pom-pom on real quick. So we're going to take our hook up inside, and we're going to go one side and pull one of those strands in. Then we'll go on the other side and pull the other strand in. All right. Then Then we'll turn this wrong side out. And we will tie this nice and securely. And I take this string that was left from where we started and I pull on it a little bit to make sure the hole in the top of my hat is closed. And then I make a knot like this. And then that's all taken care of. I need to weave this end in and then these two ends in. But for now, my gnome hat is cute and ready for me to make the rest of my gnome. Now we're going to make the body of our gnome, which is the jar cozy itself. So we're going to begin with our slip knot and chain 5 chains. We're going to join this into a circle, so we'll put our tail of yarn over our hook and pull it through that loop, and then just snug that down and tie a knot. Now, if you would prefer to use the magic circle here, you certainly can. We're going to go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet, and we're going to stitch 12 more double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now let's count again and make sure we have the right amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have our chain 3 plus 12 more is 13 double crochets. We're going to join in the top of that chain 3 and chain 3. We'll turn this over. We'll go ahead and pull on that string and we'll grab our needle and weave that in. And we'll just tidy that up by weaving that in. And then we won't have to worry about that. It'll all be taken care of. All right, so for row 1, we have 13 double crochets. We joined to our chain 3 and chained 3. For row 2, we're going to be placing 2 double crochets in each of those stitches. So we've chained 3, so we'll stitch 1 double crochet in that same stitch as our chain 3, and then we'll stitch 2 double crochets in each of those double crochets, working all the way around, and then join back to our chain 3. So 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. I stitched 2 double crochets in each of those 13 double crochets, so I have 26 double crochets. Join to the top of our chain 3 and chain 1. Now for row 3, we're just going to place 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around. So 1 single crochet in each double crochet, working all the way around, and then we'll join back to that first single crochet. 1 single crochet in each of those double crochets around. We're going to join to the first single crochet and chain 3. And now for row 4, we're just going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of those single crochets. 1 double crochet in each of the single crochets, working all the way around. And you will start to notice that this is the outside, and you'll start to notice that it will start to curl up, and that's going to give us the shape that goes around our jar. All right, so 1 double crochet in each of those single crochets all the way around, and join back to the chain 3. I completed row 4, stitching 1 double crochet in each of those stitches around, join to the chain 3 and chain 3. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat row 4 for 5 more rows. Chain 3, 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, join, chain 3. And we're going to do that for 5 more rows. So repeat row 4 for 5 more rows. So I repeated row 4 for 5 more rows. And we join to our chain 3, and now we're just going to chain 1. This brings us up through row 9, and for row 10 we're just going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around. So 1 single crochet in each double crochet, working all the way around, and we'll join back to our first single crochet. I completed that row of 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around. We're going to join to that first single crochet, chain 1, and repeat 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets around. And this is going to give us a nice edge on the top of our jar cozy. So again, we're just stitching 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, and then we'll join back again to our first single crochet. So again, I just stitched 1 single crochet in each of those stitches around. I'm going to cut my yarn and tie this off. Bring that loop to the back and tie that off. And now I'm just going to use my needle and tidy up this end. And next we're going to do the gnome's beard. To make the gnome's beard, we're going to begin with a slip knot, and we're going to chain 9 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We're going to turn, and we're going to stitch a single crochet in the second chain from the hook and in each chain across. So we'll have 8 single crochets. Chain 1, turn, and we're going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of those 8 single crochets. What we're doing here is making a little base to put the pieces or the strands of yarn to make the gnome's beard. So we have 8 single crochets, chain 1 and turn and repeat 1 single crochet in those 8 stitches. All right, so now we're going to tie off, but we're going to leave ourselves about 12 inches of yarn because we're going to use this yarn to attach it to the gnome. But we're not going to do that just yet. We're going to make the beard pieces or strands and connect them to this side of our little beard. Now we're going to cut 16 strands of yarn that are about 12 inches long. All right, so what I do is I just go like this, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm going to cut those loops that I made because these are all the strands that are going to make up the beard of my gnome. Now don't worry if some are longer than the other. We'll trim those when we're all done. All right, so we're going to be attaching them to the end where we started, where we have our tail of yarn here. All right, so we'll take 2 of our pieces and we'll place 2 in each of those 8 stitches. So we'll put our hook through, we'll grab those loops, and we'll put them on just like we do when we're adding tassel to the bottom of a sweater or something. Oops, didn't get that one cut, did I? All right, so we'll put 2 strands on each of those 8 stitches, just like we do when we're adding tassels, or fringe, I should say, not tassels, to a sweater or something. And we'll put them on 2 at a time. Just like that. I have all my strands of yarn onto this little beard section, and I'm going to trim it now, and then I'll probably come back and trim it again later, but this will just help get a lot of those long pieces off. All right, so now it's ready to go on to our cozy. And so what you're going to do is you're going to lay it right like this. We'll take our needle and thread on that long piece of yarn that we left, our tail of yarn. And you can place this wherever you want the front of your cozy to be. It doesn't matter. But I always look for the place where I did the neatest stitches. All right, so we're going to put this up on that top row of single crochets, and we're just going to whip stitch this in place like this. We'll put, what I do is I do 1 stitch per whip stitch. And we don't want this to be too snug because it still needs to be able to stretch a little bit to get over our jar. All right. I'm going to give it a little test. It does have a little stretch. And then I just, if I have extra yarn, I just go back the other way and just make sure it's on there nice and secure. Remember, this is going to be underneath the hat portion of the cozy, and so you won't really see this, but you do want it to be nice and neat. All right, so I went back across. There we go. And now I'm just going to weave that in so that it stays secure. All right, so now the cozy has its little beard. And once you put it on your jar, you can see how long those are and if you need to trim them some more. All right, let's make our gnome's nose. We'll start with our slip knot, and we're going to chain 2. We're going to place 6 half double crochets in the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2, so we'll go in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 half double crochets. We'll join to that first half double crochet with a slip stitch and chain 1. Now we're just going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of those 6 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to join to that first half double crochet with a slip stitch, and we'll cut our yarn, leaving about a 12-inch tail of yarn, and we'll just tie that off. Now we're going to turn this over and go ahead and thread that short tail of yarn where we started onto our needle. And I like to put my finger inside when it's small like this, And we're just going to close up that hole by going around those stitches, just to make sure we don't have a hole in the end of our gnome's nose. All right, and then we'll just weave that in nice and securely, because that is the inside. All right, we'll clip that, and then we'll flip this over. And there's our gnome's nose. I've got my gnome beard and my gnome nose, and we're going to sew them together. Now, what you want to do is you want to place your nose right below that last row where we added those. And you're going to be going over some of those strands of yarn. And I put my thumb on it like this, and I try to just fill that in, and we're going to go in. Make sure you go inside through that cozy. And this part will be a little more challenging, but we want to make sure we're going through, because we want it to lay on top of that beard, right on that edge. And so what I do first is I do what I would call basting stitches. I kind of go around it, make sure it's placed where it needs to be. And then I'll move those strands of yarn around, make sure they're getting underneath. And then I'll do that again. I'll just go back and forth. But this time I'm making sure I'm going through the back of my koozie. I want to make sure our nose is staying on there straight. Alright, looks like I'm a little bit crooked, but you know what? I don't care. It looks cute. You know me, I like things that are kind of funny. You just got to kind of work with that beard a little bit. I wanted it to be a little bit more 3D and pooch up. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go inside and just go like through the middle of that nose. Just make sure it's going to stay put. Alright, looks like it's going to stay put, so I'm just going to tie that off. Alright, let's put our Gnome Jar Cozy together. Alright, so we'll start with the cozy. Turn it upside down, slide it on. So there's the cozy itself. Alright, now we're going to take the hat and slide it on. And you set the hat right along that edge of the beard. Okay, you can flop it over if you want to, or leave it up. Both ways are super cute. And then here's the red one. Oh, and I added a snowflake there. I thought it was super cute and would add a little touch to it. This one's got a little Christmas ornament. So we've got both our gnome cozies. This one is more what I would call elf colors, and this is your typical Christmas colors. They're super cute, super fun, and I think you're really going to enjoy making these.